Hello everyone, and welcome back to Network 27. I'm Alderman Walter Burnett, Alderman of the 27th Ward. First of all, we want to thank everyone who helped us to put the show together, all of the fantastic camera folks, Tamara from my office who schedule everything. Also, we want to say Happy New Year's to everyone. This is going to be a great year. This is your year, right? This is going to be a great year. We hope that everyone enjoyed their holidays, all of the festivals, festive holidays that went on. We hope that everyone enjoyed the coats that we gave away and also the turkeys and hams that we gave away to all of the people in the neighborhood. So I just want to thank all of my staff and all of the volunteers and all of the people who contributed to that for helping out. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I would say we have a hidden gem here in the city of Chicago in the Illinois Medical District. Some of you may or may not know the Illinois Medical District is over in the area of Ogden, the Eisenhower, Roosevelt, I guess I'm trying to see how far I go from Ashland all the way to Western, I guess, right? And in that area is one of the largest employers in the state of Illinois. You have several hospitals in the area. It's very, very large, and there's a lot of people who work here, and there's a lot of people who seek services here. So we have institutions over here like Rush Hospital, we have Veterans Hospital, and we also have UIC over here. And you have a lot of different institutions that's renting in buildings around here that service people also medically. So it's a great area, and there's a lot of specialties over here. Also, you had a county hospital. I'd be remiss if I did not mention the county hospital. But you know, when people need services in the medical area, sometimes they need help. Sometimes folks may have to attend to doctors periodically and have to be close by. And where do folks like that stay? Where do they stay, and how could they afford it? Well, ladies and gentlemen, today I want to introduce to you some folks who have been filling those gaps for many years. It's a charitable organization that help people, and I'm not going to say it all, but I want to introduce you all to a place that's been here for a while, and it's called the Guest House Foundation, Illinois Medical District Guest House Foundation, right? And Illinois Medical District Guest House Foundation, I have several guests here. Sitting to my right is Joanie Vernasco, yeah. Vernasco. Okay, thank you very much for coming. Joanie is the Director of Business Operations for the Guest House. Then we have the Executive Director, Adam Helman. Adam, thank you for being here. And then we have Jan Kroeschell. Kroeschell, right. We practiced that earlier, man. Jan Kroeschell, she's the manager of the volunteer program. And also we have one of their great board members, Mr. Anthony Scott. Anthony sits on the board, but he's also the vice president and branch manager for the Wintrust Corporation. So guys, I don't know how to start this off. Why don't one of you all, and everybody pitch in, but when you pitch in, you got to tell me about yourself. Okay. Or you got to tell the audience about yourself, right? So the audience can know you know what you're talking about, right?
Fair enough.
So who wants to pitch in and start off and tell about this great organization?
I'll talk a little bit.
Okay. And again, just for the record, Adam?
Adam Helman, right. Okay. I'm the executive director. I've worked here for 5 years. This is my first job in not-for-profit. Most of my professional career before that was in consumer product marketing. I worked for Coca-Cola for a while and for some advertising agencies. So this was a real change of pace for me. And what we do at IMD Guest House is that we help people who have to stay near the hospital but not in the hospital. So one of the things that's really changed in medical care over the last 20 years or so is that for people who are seriously ill, have cancer, need an organ transplant, things like that, that expertise to treat those people is more and more concentrated in big hospitals like Rush, like UI Health, like Stroger, and University of Chicago, which is also a partner of ours. And so more and more people have to come from further and further away to be near the hospital but not stay in the hospital. And so what we really provide is a way for people to be near those hospitals so that they can get treatment, or their families can look in on them if they're staying in the hospital, so that the families can be caregivers and help out the patients who stay there.
So this is a way so that families don't have to stay in the hospital all the time. You know, a lot of us end up sleeping on that little couch that they have.
Right.
And some of the hospitals have made it very comfortable, or they had a big chair that kicks back and turns to like a bed. So this is where they could really relax and stretch out and still be close to their loved ones. So tell us, and anyone can pitch in, when the guest house, whose idea was this? How long has it been around? You know, how do you pay for this joint? What's the deal? What's going on with the guest house?
Go ahead, Joanie.
So we were founded about 20 years ago.
20 years
we
ago.
just celebrated our 20th anniversary. And one of our board members, Jane Reich, was actually, this was her idea. She works for Rush, and they had a family coming in from out of the country, and they had nowhere to stay. And to Jane, she's like, this is ridiculous. We're one of the leading medical hospitals in the country. We should have somewhere for the families to be. So she got the ball rolling, and there have been so many hardworking individuals on our board and in our community who've helped us. And so now we're able to provide that temporary lodging for families. You know, it could be one night, or it could be as long. We had an international family with a 7-year-old stay for over a year.
Wow.
And we would not exist without Jane having that idea, and all of our other board members and staff and everyone coming together to make that idea a reality.
So people can stay for one night or for a year?
Yes, this is as long as it's medically necessary. For the family I brought up in particular, they had a young son with a very rare form of brain tumor.
Wow.
And a doctor at Rush was one of the only ones who really treated it. So it was either stay in Chicago or go home and possibly pass away. So they stayed here, and while they were getting their feet under them, they stayed with us. And now and Jan will attest, the mom and one of the oldest sons are some of our best volunteers.
Really?
Yeah, so some of our families do, if they are semi-local or do relocate, they come back and they give back.
Fantastic.
It's wonderful.
So you know, you never really think about that. I know, like I just had a friend who was in the hospital, unfortunately, and we all try to go see him, right? And they're like, okay, only 2 at a time, or you know, all of those things, and you got to take turns or wait till the other guys go up and see him, and all those things. And if you are a family member, you know, that need to stay over or stay close to them, you know, one person can probably sleep in the room. I don't know about 2 or 3 people sleeping in the same room. You know, I don't think the hospitals would allow that. Right? So you all really give a relief toward that. You allow for those families to stay close.
Yes.
You know, that's fantastic. So this is a non-for-profit organization, right? So you have a board. So how do you get people on your board? You go beg them to get on your board, or encourage them to get on your board? No, what type of board members? Are they mostly medical people?
It's really it's a combination of people from our sponsoring hospitals, so our partners, people from the business community who have an interest in that. There are people who are on our board who've had maybe some family experience with needing this kind of service that makes them interested in it. Anthony joined our board from Wintrust. We do our banking business there, and we like to have somebody from some of our key suppliers like that, our key partners, be involved in it. And Anthony has some direct experience in this area. So
Exactly. First of all, I want to say, Alderman, for Wintrust. Anthony Scott from Wintrust Bank. This just makes sense for Wintrust. We share the same mission. Wintrust is all about supporting and undergirding the community and doing what we can to assist families with financial freedom. And sometimes they can't afford to do the things such as get in a hotel and stay there for a long period of time. And so it just makes sense for Wintrust to join in partnership with IMD Guest House. Me personally, this means a lot to me. I actually had a sister who was born with lateral curvature of the spine. And for the first 7 years of her life, she was in a hospital. And my mother would lug us every single day to the hospital to be with my sister, because we understood that us being there is a major part of her healing. And we went back and forth every day. And so I wish something like this would have been available back over 30 years ago when my sister had to go through what she had to go through.
And that could be expensive.
It could
so
be very
you don't
expensive.
even think about the expenses of the transportation,
Exactly.
commuting,
Exactly.
and all of those things.
Exactly.
But also Guest House. So Guest House is a non-for-profit organization. Is this a Christian organization or a spiritual organization?
not at all.
Not at all. Okay. And Guest House, I would imagine that when people stay here, how do they pay for it? Do they pay for it? Is it free? What's the deal?
So we have a base rate. The highest any family will pay is $65 a night. If that's not
For the whole family?
Yes. So every family, when they come, they get their own apartment. We call them rooms sometime, but they are one-bedroom apartments, mostly one bedrooms. You have a queen-size bed in the bedroom, a couch in the living room that pulls out to a queen-size bed, a lazy boy lift chair, full kitchen, private bathroom, and that's their home for as long as they stay with us. So what we ask is our base rate is $65. If they can't afford that, and the majority of our families do get some sort of financial assistance, we work with them for what's affordable. The key, though, to the IMD Guest House is we never turn anyone away if they cannot pay. So we may have a value on the room, but if they say, that we need to be here, we just don't have the funds, which if you can imagine what people go through, of course, by the time sometimes they come up to Chicago, they've exhausted a lot of money. Then they'll stay with us, and we will we'll cover the stay. And we just ask that sometime in the future, if they find they're back on their feet and they can make a donation to help another family, that they do, and we have seen that.
Fantastic. So I had the opportunity to visit one of the rooms. Very nice room. I could stay there, right? Television, full kitchen, small kitchen with refrigerator and stove and all of those things. But you all, this room that we're sitting in right now is another room. And what is this room?
Go ahead, Jan. Why don't you talk about this?
I'm Jan Kroeschell.
And you run this room, right? This is
it's
like
my domain.
This is your domain right here.
That's right.
Okay.
I'm Jan Kroeschell, the manager of volunteers and programming, and in the community room, we like to be able to bring together not only volunteers but our guests. So a highlight during the week is Thursday night dinners, and we will have groups of volunteers. It could be individuals that come together, friends. It could be corporate groups. Last night we had Northern Trust here. On Tuesday we had an extra dinner. We had Amly 900 here. So we have groups that want to come and make dinner, sponsor dinner for our guests, and it brings people together. It brings this opportunity for the caregivers to talk with about their, what they're going through. Yeah. Patients who are guests here to be able to talk with each other and say, oh, my doctor's suggesting this, and it's something that just comes together when you bring food into the picture, being able to sit down and just chat. And I have my volunteers, they really are just opening the door and asking, not even necessarily how are you, but where are you from? It starts a conversation, do you have any pets? And if a guest wants to open up about their medical reasons that they're here, they may do that. And the volunteer may have gone through a similar situation, or another guest at the table, and they just are able to share with each other and really support each other in that way.
So this is like a community room here. So everyone can come in here, read books, you know, look at videos, snack.
Yeah,
I
enjoy
love the
snacks.
snacks.
Relax. Yeah.
Relax, you know, those peanut butter cookies are the bomb. Man,
That's
you know?
right.
So they can come and get peanut butter cookies in here, and all of that is free of charge. And the Thursday nights dinners are free of charge. And so, you know, you just compare this to being in a hospital room, right? Normally you like slip downstairs and try to find a cafeteria if it's open. If it's not open, which they close periodically, you go find a vending machine, right?
Yep.
Right? Or you wonder, if you don't live around here, you wander around outside to see if there's something to buy and all of those kind of things. You know, could be somewhat taxing on you. So it's convenient to have a place where you can come and folks are cooking, or you can just go grocery shopping and buy food and cook. You know, which is fantastic. So how do you get volunteers?
We've got a lot of regular volunteers that have been coming. I also use volunteermatch.org as a place to post opportunities. But I would say a lot of them are word of mouth. They bring their friends, corporations that have been involved with us, like AMLI. We have a board member, Stephen Ross, on our board, and they've really taken us under their wing to partner with us. And so their different residences have done goodie bags. We had goodie bags delivered yesterday that were distributed around to all our guest doors. So it's a really pleasant surprise. It has some snacks in there so that they don't have to go to some of the vending machines if they get a little goodie bag. It's got snacks in there. And it's got a wonderful little note. So our guests really enjoy that feeling of being able to give back. And when they start hearing about us, they want to come back and they want to do more. And sometimes they'll go back to places that they work, or they'll invite their friends. We had someone come and want to have a birthday party, and that's how she celebrated her birthday. She had her volunteers.
So she had volunteers.
Had brought her friends here, and they did something kind for our guests and gave back in honor of her birthday.
So if somebody wanted to volunteer with you all, what would they do?
Well, they'd reach out to me. They could contact us through the website, and there's a volunteer tab on our website, and
So
they
what's
can
the
reach out that
website?
way. www.imdguesthouse.org.
Fantastic. So we're talking about the guest house, ladies and gentlemen, is a place where people can stay while their loved ones, or even themselves, have to attend to doctors and need to be close to the hospitals, right? Why stay at the guest house instead of staying at the Hyatt, Marriott, any of those places?
It's your home away from home.
Okay.
It's your home. The feeling that you get here is so much more different than a hotel. And it's a key part of your healing. You're able to relax more at the guest house than you are at a hotel room.
All right, so Wintrust Bank, what about the price? What about the price? What about the money, man?
What about it?
Okay,
Wintrust supports.
No, I'm not asking for any money. I'm saying, what about the difference in the dollars?
Well, there's a huge difference. So you can stay here for $65 versus a hotel, a top-end hotel for $200.
$200 a night, $140 a night.
Yeah.
And it's a rotating rate depending on demand.
Most
Right.
definitely.
If the Blackhawks are playing well, it's up to $350.
$350,
Yeah.
right, in this area. So
Right. Our guests can't afford that.
can't afford that, right? So it's very economical. So how do you supplement that cost?
Well, we get money from a couple of different sources. Our partner hospitals and programs sponsor apartments to refer people here. So the big sponsors are Rush, UI Health, Stroger through the Stroger Auxiliary, the hospital auxiliary at Cook County. We also get sponsorship from Gift of Hope, which is supports organ and tissue transplants. We do a lot with organ transplant patients here. And then we also have a big program with veterans who are getting treated for PTSD. It's called the Road Home Program at Rush. So they'll bring in a group of, now it's up to 20 veterans who will come in at one time, and they all pretty much stay on the 4th floor all together. And they'll go for 3 weeks of all-day, everyday treatment. And there'll be sort of a cohort, and they'll stay with us during that period. So each of those organizations, and did I miss anybody? I got all of them, right?
University
Oh yeah,
of
University of Chicago. Oh my God,
UNC.
University of Chicago also sponsors guest rooms here.
So University of Chicago is on the south side.
Yes.
Correct.
In Hyde Park.
Right.
So folks come here and stay here and then go there.
Yes.
Right. Right.
So that pretty much says about a need for more places like this. Right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. So they come here.
Right. 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 We're working right now and trying to understand just sort of how high is up for demand for a place like this. When we think about, we have 47 apartments right now for guests in this building. How much more room is there? How much more space do we need? And then can we work on getting that space? So we're trying to understand that right now because that's a big part of what we do.
So it's unique that the new building that the county just built, right? I was at the ribbon cutting for that building. They have a lot of their cancer treatment in that building.
Right.
Right. It's unique that that building is across the street from you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So if somebody's going through that, because you know, like I had a sister who went through that. You know, sometimes when people go through those treatments, radiation and all of those things, they really don't want to move around that much.
Right.
Right. So it's unique to be able to just come across the street,
Absolutely.
go lay down, you know, and chill. You know, and then if you got to go back tomorrow, you go back tomorrow. So it's unique to have this place here.
Right. And one of the things that I think works really well about our setup with having apartments, and this might be different than a hotel, say, is that if you are worn out, tired, maybe you're not hungry, or maybe you're hungry at a different time. If you're at a hotel, you have to go out and get food somewhere. You have to go out to a restaurant. You have to go do something. Because our rooms are really self-contained apartments, people can make food on their own schedule, buy the food that they want. A lot of times, and I'm sure your sister had this experience, you know, you don't feel like eating a lot, or you only feel like eating very, very specific foods when you're getting treated. Cancer treatment's very hard on people often. So it really gives them a little bit more freedom and flexibility, the ability to relax a little bit more.
So Jan, you said that with the volunteers, they can go on the website if they want to volunteer. You get people who empathize with people because they've been through it with their family or been through it themselves, and probably recognize how, you know, how comforting it was to have folks to help them or be there for them when they were going through this. But you mentioned about, Adam, about the hospitals sponsoring some of the apartments, right? But they don't sponsor all of them,
Correct.
right? So you're not just funded by the hospitals and the organizations. So you got to hustle too.
So we have to raise money.
So you got to
absolutely.
beg for money too, right? Yeah. So I
Yes.
just met a young lady. She said she's a professional beggar for you all. So you got to raise money, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So we raise money from individuals. So we do we have a year-end campaign that we ask people who are interested in giving money to a cause like ours. We have foundations that support us, and we have events. We had our 20th anniversary event. You were kind enough to join us and participate in that, and that raises money for us.
That was a dynamic event, man.
It was great fun, right?
I felt like I was like in Las Vegas or something.
Absolutely.
Y'all had like casino night or something.
Yes. Yes.
And those are all volunteers that ran those games.
All volunteers, all those
Yeah.
was volunteers?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
They did a great job. I thought they were professional, man.
No, they were
volunteers.
very dedicated. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, so you had to have events like that to raise money, even
Right.
though, so you probably did okay. I'm sure you did okay, but I know that having events like that, it costs money to make money, so you
Yep.
have to pay for stuff in order to do that. And so that money that you raise go toward all of those other apartments
Right.
that that the hospitals don't supplement.
Correct.
So you help the families to be able to
Right.
afford. So $60 a night, man, you can't stay anywhere for $60 a night.
Right.
You know, for a family to stay somewhere $60 a night, you know, so that helps them to be able to afford that. So if people wanted to contribute to this, what would they do?
They would visit www.imdguesthouse.org if they wanted to donate online at our website, or they could certainly look up our name and our address on the website and send us a check. Those are the best ways to do it. All of our contact information is available online. They can call our phone numbers are all on there, our office numbers are on there, so people can give us a call if they'd like to donate or they'd like to volunteer. We love to get help from people.
So how do people find out about the guest house? How do they find out that, you know, okay, my mom, my loved one is in the hospital, what am I gonna do, right? How do they find out to go stay at the hospital, stay at the guest house?
Yes.
That they had that option.
So
Do the hospitals tell them? Or?
yes. Yeah, and so our families and patients come to us through their medical teams, their social workers, their nurse navigators. We stay in very good contact with our social workers at our different hospitals or anyone on the medical team, because what they'll do is they'll get someone in who says, you know, I'm not from here, even if you're from Chicago, but it could take you 2 buses to get here in an hour and a half each way. They need to be closer. So when they express that to their medical team, the medical team, and it's mostly social workers and nurse navigators, they will tell their patients about us. They will also fill out a referral form with all the patient and family important information, send it to us. My team in the operations office gets it and we process it that day. So if you saw your social worker at 9 a.m. and they sent the referral at 10 a.m., we should have reached out and contacted you by like 11:30 to say, let's confirm this information, let's confirm these dates with you. It's either the patient or the primary caregiver who's going to stay with us. And we talk about the financial assistance, and then we book their stay. And ideally, we have a room for them that day, the day they need it. If we don't, we always find a way to get them in maybe the second or third day. Most of our cancer or transplant, a lot of those patients can pre-plan, but we'll get calls from Cook County Stroger about a burn unit family or NICU and neonatal.
What's a NICU?
NICU is the neonatal ICU, so preemies. And we actually have a family right here now with us who the baby was born 2 months early. They're from Chicago, but it takes so long to get here via public transportation. It was a hardship for mom to go back and forth. So she has been able to stay with us, and now that little baby that was born a little more than 2 months early is here with us now. She's healthy and she's good to go home.
That's great.
And a big part of that was the amazing medical team at Stroger Cook County Hospital, but that was also fact that the baby could have her mom there every day because all she had to do is go from here to Cook County. And so our partnership with the hospitals, really, we work together to provide this for our families.
So you say you have financial aid, or?
Yeah, so what we do is we talk with the families and we base it off of their monthly income and the number of people living off that income. We follow the federal poverty guidelines, and that's an equation in the computer that will tell us where to start giving the financial assistance at.
So you give financial assistance for the $60 a night?
Yes, so it will start off at 65, but it will bring it lower from there. So they could pay $45 a night, they could end up paying $20 a night. Or like I said earlier, if 20 is still not affordable, then they'll pay what, if anything, they can. And what do you call them, professional beggars, they'll go out, and because they've reached out to the community who's wanted to help these families, we have a fund to help cover the rest of their stay. So now they can focus on their loved one getting better, them getting better, getting the proper nutrition and food, getting sleep, taking a shower, and not have to worry, how am I going to pay my rent and my mortgage and pay the stay? So that's how we're unique. You know, a hotel would say, I'm sorry, this check's not clearing, your card's not clearing, you have to go. We say, how's your loved one? And then you'll stay with us as long as you need to.
Oh, that's fantastic.
About 2/3 of the service we provide supports families from low-income houses in Chicago, or from all over the country. But about 2/3 of the nights of service that we provide go to families that are low income, and about 3/4 of the families that stay here on the nights they receive get some level of financial assistance from us at sort of discounting the $65 rate.
Fantastic. So how many people are on your board?
Right now we have 21.
21 people. So I heard a guy who used to be an alderman is on your board.
Yes, one of your former colleagues, Alderman Joe Moore.
Joe Moore, yeah. I saw him at the fundraiser. Yeah, that was cool. That's good. So he has a wealth of knowledge. So being in the medical district, being around all these hospitals, folks will automatically think that every doctor was donating money. Well, first of all, everybody think every doctor is rich, right? Right. So that's after they pay off all those student loans that they had to do. But I don't think that's the case for all of them, right? And so people will probably already assume that you all are set because you get a whole lot of support from every medical profession in this area, and that's not the case.
Right.
So you still got to hustle. You still have to raise money.
Absolutely.
Because I know there's a lot of other causes.
Right.
There's a lot of causes that go on in the medical district.
Yeah.
Right. All types of causes for prenatal care, cancer, everything related to medicine. People that work here get tapped for.
Right. Oh yeah.
Right. And some of them I would imagine that folks don't think about the housing part.
Right.
It don't be the first one to pop up. Probably the first one to pop up is something, more health related.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so you all had to compete with all of that in order to try to survive. So it's good that people can see and recognize this and understand this. And now, so if a person is not, so let's say some of our guests right now, right? That's looking at this. Some of our viewers are looking at this. So now they know that there's a guest house, right? They don't get referral through their caseworker or their hospital. They just know it. Can they just come to the guest house if they got a loved one staying in the hospital? And could they come on their own?
They can give us a call and come for a tour and get the process started on their own, but we do require a referral agent from someone on their medical team to send that paperwork over. Okay. And that's to ensure that everyone staying here is staying here for medical reasons.
Not just
and it's
to
not
be
someone,
out.
Who's
not just get some free, not just get some cheap hotel fees.
Or peanut butter cookies.
Right. They heard about Margaret's peanut butter
cookies. Hey man, why you talking about me, man?
But what we try to do, and what my team will do, is if you call and say, I heard about the guest house, I need a place to stay, how do I get this started? We'll work with you to either we can reach out to your medical team first, or you reach out to them and you'll say, hey, call this guest house, and someone will call us.
So you need some type of referral that you're in need of.
Exactly. And that ensures that the people who need it get the room. The majority of people out there are good people. But it's those, it's someone who said, I want to go to the shed and not have to pay $300 at a hotel. We want to avoid that.
Yeah. Well, and then some folks may have large medical bills, because of these situations. And, so if people wanted to contribute to you all, what would they do?
They could do it online on our website. They could look up our phone number, 312-996-1167, and that's our main office number. And if they said they wanted to make a contribution, the office could help them work with that. If they wanted to mail in a check, they could tell them where to mail a check in, or if they wanted to use a credit card and donate online, they could do that on the website, www.imdguesthouse.org. And it's important to know, we talk about big numbers and medical bills and things like that, but $5 or $10 helps out, you know. So I think sometimes people think about nonprofits and they think, well, if I can't give $1,000 or $500 or $200 or whatever, that people aren't going to need my help. And the truth is, for whatever anybody could afford to give, even if it's $5, that helps to make a big difference in somebody's life. And the main thing we raise money for is specifically to pay that gap between the guest fees that we normally charge and the assistance that we provide to patients. So every little bit helps. If there's somebody who can afford to give $1,000, we'd love to get it, but just don't want to discourage people who feel like, well, I don't have much money to give.
Then for those who can't give, we have this great volunteer program.
Right.
We have this amazing, this summer I was able to come here and I worked the grill and we had a fantastic barbecue out back. Mm-hmm. And it was amazing to interact with the guests and other volunteers and give back. Mm-hmm. And so for those who can't give anything financially, maybe you can contact Jan and volunteer your services. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Well, tell me this, so folks can give monetarily, they can give volunteering. What about, could they donate any other things? Do you take other donations, like if they want to do plates or food or, you know, any of those things you take?
I mean, we have snacks in our community room all the time. So some people, there's actually a group that contacted me from last year that wants to do it again out in the suburbs. And just among coworkers, this woman is talking to people and they're all gathering items just off of a wish list that we have on our website. Mm-hmm. Plus, you know, it could be coffee, you know, K-cups for our Keurig in the community room. It could be prepackaged snacks that you can get from Costco or Sam's Club, or, you know, things that maybe people are typically buying at the vending machines that could be a little bit of protein and some protein bars that it just gets them through the day until they come home to maybe make them a small meal.
So do you ever get a situation, because I know we have some fantastic hospitals here, and people come from all over the country, maybe even all over the world, to attend some of these hospitals. So I could imagine someone coming here from like California that, you know, is shocked about, you know, they had to wear gloves and hats and scarves.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So we gloves, hats, umbrellas. You know, it's they're coming from far away. They're not used to our beautiful Chicago weather in January, or you know, it's not something they think of. You know, if you need an umbrella, let's say they come by airplane, that's not something they're going to bring on the plane typically. Another thing is laundry detergent. We have 24-hour laundry that's free in the basement of the building. Yeah, but like, you know, if you're making this kind of a trip, you're not like, oh, let me pack my laundry detergent along with all my clothes to come, you know? That's not something that people think about. So when we can get things like laundry detergent, toothpaste, toothbrushes, stuff like that helps a lot too.
Fantastic. So we've been talking about the guest house, and we said that it was in the medical district, right? Or we said it's related to the medical district, but we didn't tell people where it was. I know I did mention that it was across the street from the county building, but there's a lot of couple of county buildings around there, right? Yeah. So where's the guest house?
We're located at 809 South Damon Avenue, so right at the southeast corner of Polk and Damon. Basically about 5 blocks south of the Eisenhower Expressway and the United Center on the other side of the highway.
So you're in a building. So do the guest house own this building?
No, the building, we rent our space from the University of Illinois.
So you have to pay rent.
We pay rent.
So you pay rent,
Yes.
Right.
and then you rent it out to other people.
Correct.
Wow. Okay. So if no one come, you still have to pay rent.
Yes.
We still get to pay the rent.
Wow. So that's so for you numbers guys, Tony, on the board, you know, I know y'all looking at that stuff.
You got to keep the lights on.
So you pay rent. So really, you probably the $60 is probably a big discount for these folks. It probably costs you more than $60.
65, yeah.
So on Damon and Polk Street,
Yes.
you rent space in a building.
Right.
hmm And Tony was mentioning that you can go outside and barbecue in the back.
Right.
Right, so you have they allow you to use space, and then you allow folks to wash their clothes.
Right.
So what other accommodations do they get? That's a deal, man. I mean, you go to the Marriott or the Hyatt, you can't wash your clothes.
Yeah.
Right.
So we have, so each unit has cable TV, Wi-Fi throughout the entire building, which is very important.
You don't have to pay for it. You
Don't have to
get
pay extra for it. It's all included. This is all included. For our long-term stay guests who are here a week or longer, our facilities team will come in and our guests will strip their beds of all the linens that we provide for them. So towels, sheets, blankets.
Really?
Yes, and then our facilities team will come in, they'll take the dirty stuff, they'll bring new stuff. It's once a week.
So your facilities team, do they work for you or they
They work for
volunteers?
no, they actually work for the University of Illinois.
Okay.
But we think of them as part of our team because
That's
they care
great.
about our families as much as
So
we
the
do.
University of Illinois does that because this is a University of Illinois building
Right.
that you rent from?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that
our
part of your
yeah.
rent, right,
But
okay.
none of it,
windman.
the guests don't have to pay extra for anything like that.
Okay.
And
Yeah, then you got a receptionist downstairs, probably a what they call them, RA?
Right.
Well, they're usually students.
Students, right,
Student
right.
workers, yeah.
Student workers. Don't they
workers,
call
yeah.
them RAs?
RAs?
Well,
Right.
Go ahead.
we do have RAs, but those aren't the people working the desks.
Oh, okay.
The RAs are great though because in the evenings or on the weekends when we're not here, if a guest accidentally locks their keys out or needs something, the RAs, again, these are graduate students, but they care about our families as much as we do and they help them out.
That's great.
Which is, it's part of our partnership with the university, but you can't force someone to care. So we have a wonderful community surrounding us.
Right.
And they sometimes volunteer. We get cards from them. And Jan had mentioned the cards that volunteers write. I don't think it would surprise anyone, or maybe it would, that these little cards, and they could just say, have a great day, I'm thinking about you. Our medical patients, our veterans, you'll see those posted to the walls. And they take them home with them because it's that little connection. Sometimes they come from the volunteers. We've gotten holiday cards or Valentine's. We got them from the students in the building one year. We even get little things to hang on the door from the elementary school down the street.
Oh, wow.
So it's really, it's not going back kind of to your difference between hotel and this. Yes, there's a monetary thing, but there's the community thing that you can't pay for.
Great. So you're in the building. It's in the medical district on Damon and Polk. Very safe area.
Yes.
Right.
Which is good. Folks don't have to worry. Close to the expressway if they got to drive somewhere. So this is very good, man. That's fantastic. So tell me, do you all have anything coming up? As you know, we're in the month of January right now. So do you have anything coming up?
Well, we're just in January. We are just starting off our year, so we'll have in the fall another big fundraiser, and we'll keep you posted on that. We hope you'll come back for that. We'll probably also have some friend-raising events during the year. We're still planning that out, but things where we can get people to come to a restaurant maybe, or a bar and have a drink and maybe contribute some money that way. Maybe the restaurant or bar will do that for us as well. So we'll have some fundraisers like that. And then what Jan does, every week, every day, there's volunteer opportunities. So when people want to get involved at any time, and Anthony talked about this too, getting people to come and volunteer is wonderful, and it means so much to the guests. Sometimes we think about, it's just baking cookies, or it's just serving up a little food and chit-chatting with somebody, or whatever it is. But for someone who's going through a medical crisis, especially if they're away from home, and they just feel like they're alone and they're on their own,
Right.
these small, it feels like a small gesture makes a big, big difference.
And they can follow us on Facebook too to see all of our upcoming events or see pictures from our volunteer dinners and everything like that, which is a great way to be connected if you're in the community, and you can also donate via Facebook.
Fantastic. Well, so guys, we have about 10 minutes left. Is there anything that you want to say before we go?
I would love more volunteers.
Okay.
I mean, we're going into a new year, and sometimes people make resolutions to lose weight or, start planning their trips. I hope that people take on the opportunity to do more service.
Yes.
And starting here would be a great place to do that, whether it's with coworkers or friends or just on their own. We have a lot of different groups that have started participating here that come on a regular basis. So I also have Wednesday breakfast. I always need morning breakfast folks to come on a Wednesday.
So on Wednesday you give breakfast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you give breakfast for free on Wednesdays and you do dinner for free on Thursdays.
Yes.
Exactly.
And
And then
cookies
we've
all the
got
time.
goodie bags
And cookies
cookie
all the
baking
time, and
all
snacks
that,
and
yeah.
fruit
Yeah.
and coffee.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're part of the Chicago community. Our volunteers are part of the Chicago community. I don't want people to just think we're serving out-of-state families. We're serving Chicago families also.
Right.
So it's a great way to be part of your community. And we hear negative things about Chicago all the time, but we have so much positive. And we're at the guest house, and what we do here is part of the positive that we want people to be part of with us.
Fantastic. So I'm sure I see you have some. You have some Christmas decorations left over from Christmas in January now, right? And
It's hard to take them down when it's brought a lot of cheer. But.
yeah, so you do those kind of things to make people feel like they're at home.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you put up decorations. And,
Right. And on Easter, we come in and we make an Easter dinner for people. We're always concerned about big family holidays and people feeling like they're away from home and away from what they're used to. So Easter, we always like to have a dinner. We have a volunteer group from Rush that's made a Thanksgiving dinner on Thanksgiving week. And then we had volunteers come in this year on Thanksgiving Day. My wife and I like to come in on Christmas Day and make a dinner. My mother-in-law is coming this year from Cleveland, Ohio to do that. So holiday meals are a big part of what we like to do. And it's just, the community piece of this is just so important.
yeah, I can feel the love. Sound like there's a lot of love here. So I just want to thank you all very much, and God bless you guys
Thank
for
you.
what you
Thank
do for people in need, where average person wouldn't even think of this. It's fantastic that somebody's have thought about this, helping families when they're in need. And so I just want to thank Joanie Vernasco. Thank you very much for coming on the show, Director of Business Opportunities. Adam Helman, the Executive Director of the IMD Guest House Foundation. Joanie,
Jan.
Jan
Kroeschell.
Kroeschell, Manager of the Volunteers and Programming, and also Anthony Scott, board member of the organization. If someone was interested in being on the board, what would they do?
They would contact me. So again, it's one of those things where we're always interested in talking to people who want to help people, be part of the community, connect to the community. So again, our phone number is 312-996-3158. And they should call, ask for Adam Helman, and be happy to talk to them.
And what's the website again, Adam?
www.imdguesthouse.org.
And when people donate to you, is it tax deductible?
All donations are tax deductible, and people can make donations. They can make general donations, or if they're interested in a certain kind of patient by diagnosis, say organ transplant, they're interested in that, they can donate to help organ transplant patients. Cancer patients, if they're interested in that, they could do that. Veterans, they could do that. So
They can earmark their funds. Yep.
yeah, so we can definitely subdivide how those funds are invested to make sure that we help out different patient groups if that's what somebody's interested in.
Fantastic. So, guys, again, thank you all for coming on the show.
Thanks for
I
having
really
us.
appreciate you. Thank you, everyone, for watching Network 27. I'm Alderman Walter Burnett. I think Valentine's Day is going to come up soon. We're tentatively, I know on the calendars that I sent you all, that we had a tentative date for a Valentine's Day ball for the senior citizens. So I'm not sure yet, but you will see. If it is, you will get a robocall. And I just want to warn you, the aldermen like to dance. So you all better put on those dancing shoes. And all you guys, I can't dance with all those women by myself now. Y'all better come on out and have a good time and let them know just because there's some ashes on the roof don't mean that there's no fire in the furnace, okay? So so I look forward to seeing you all next month. Thank you again for watching Network 27. I'm Alderman Burnett. God bless you. Thank you.